Hello, everyone. Derek Floyd here, Beautiful Now Podcast. Welcome to Beautiful Now Live, the segment where we talk to special guests about things that are important and relevant into your world, but that also hopefully leave you uplifted, encouraged, and inspired. Today, I've got another amazing special guest, just of course happens to be a friend of mine, and we're going to talk about the insight of where the art of DJs have gone. If you consider, a lot of times we used to go to our club or go to our favorite party, and we'd have the DJ bumping that great music, making us feel really good, being able to dance. Well, think about this. The clubs are all closed. You can't do any parties because of social distancing. So where do DJs go now? How do they make their living? What happens to the music when there's no DJ? That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, my friend just happens to be one of the greats out there. He has met people like Stevie Wonder, Grandmixer DXT, Herbie Hancock. I mean, this gentleman's been around some of the greats. He's worked at some of the actual trade shows out there in California, like NAMM, worked with Guitar Center in his past, and he's actually now working for a company called Serato. That's a actual DJ hardware manufacturer, software manufacturer company, and he's on the pulse of what's happening out there and helping DJs become where they need to be. My main man, my friend, Tony Baraz. Tony, you there, brother?
Hey man, how's it going?
Man, glad to see you, brother. What's been happening, man?
Hey man, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for taking the time to do this. This is incredible. It's a weird time, but we're evolving with it. So thank you for getting the message out to people.
Yeah, man. I think we miss parts of what's happening out there with COVID-19 just because there's so much that's being affected and so many different areas are being affected. And then you don't even consider, man, DJs have a real job they've done for years. Now they can't do their job, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's really funny because there 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 are different kinds of DJs. Obviously, there are the club DJs, and they're the home and bedroom kind of hobbyists. But hugely, there's the mobile DJ, and a lot of those mobile guys, they're affected in different ways. One, because those are the guys that do weddings and corporate events and different things like that. So it is. If I've made my bread and butter on DJing, this is all I've done my whole life. How do I continue to do this in this current state? So
Yeah,
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 it's interesting.
yeah, yeah. Well, man, again, I want to thank you for coming on and talking to my subscribers out there. I know you've worked with Serato for many years. I know you've been an actual DJ yourself for many years. How long were you a DJ first?
Oh wow! Without telling my age, I don't like DJ longer than most people have been alive.
You're not that
Uh,
old, man. Come on, talk to me.
yeah, I am, but I look good. No, so, so I think I've been DJing. I've been DJing since I was a kid, theoretically, because when I was a baby, I used to play records. James Brown, James Brown, James Brown.
Nice.
In fact, my family thought I could read because I would always play. Well, there's no non-hit side of a James Brown record, but I got my first. I was acquainted with my first set of turntables at 7. I inherited my first set of tables at 11, which were the most rickety turntables you could imagine. But I got so good on them that when I finally bought some 1200s, it was over. But yeah, we could say upwards of 25 years and more than that. That's a long answer
That's a
for
long
it.
answer for
That's
25
me
years.
trying to cloak my age, but yeah, I've been DJing for quite some time.
For you're just gonna say a long time, just a long time. Well,
A long
well,
time. I've been
being
DJing for over. Look. I've been DJing for over 30 years, and I grew up doing it.
okay,
So this isn't something that is new to me. This has been my life for my entire life.
okay. So
So
you are part of the thread of what happens in this space. So to me, that means you know you have a pulse of what's happening. You know this area. How has the art of the DJ evolved now that technologies come into play?
You know what? That's a really good question. Being somebody who started on turntables and was buying vinyl because that was the medium. Some of the things that have shifted were the introduction of a computer. So now, as opposed to then where I had to carry 15, 20 crates to a party because I didn't know what I was going to play, but I wanted to make sure I had everything to play. Now taking a hard drive on a plane in your computer, you have 120,000 songs. You have everything you need, and technologically has leapfrogged by allowing you to now stream your music that you're playing. So even if you don't have it, if you belong to certain um, platforms like Tidal, it allows you to stream your music in. So yeah, replacing your vinyls, as Jazzy Jeff would say, saving your back is some of the bigger things that have changed the way people DJ.
I can't imagine, man. You guys used to have to bring those big old crates of records, man. Y'all used to have to work out because y'all was bringing in a lot of records, and you had to make sure you had them all set up. That's a whole nother layer to. It's got to be way easier than just throwing it in a computer and rock and roll, right?
Skinny kid with a bird chest and big muscles, because that was all I was doing was carrying crates.
Yeah,
All I was
man.
doing was carrying crates. And you know what? I got to tell you, there was a badge of pride that came with that, because if you had the right setup and you had the right records and you had enough and you were the man. People judged you on basically the equipment you had and the music you had, which makes a lot of sense. And now they also judge you on what you use.
Yeah.
The products that you use plays a lot into your validity as a DJ sometimes.
I think what's unique in that I've always thought was great back then, I'm not sure how prevalent it is now, is that great DJs had to know what music to play. Even though you had a bunch of records, you had to have a pulse of what was going to make that crowd move, what was going to make everybody get involved, how to keep people engaged. Because if there was a bad DJ, wasn't nobody dancing, right? That's a bad call.
You are spot on. Look, a good DJ. I'm gonna tell you what a good DJ is. You're a good DJ. There's a lot of good DJs that I know who don't consider themselves DJs, because a DJ is somebody that turns other people on to good music that they like.
Mm,
And if
yeah.
they love something and they're showing somebody first, that's the song selection is everything when it comes to being a good DJ. So if you can't read a crowd and know what's going to make them move, this might not be for you. But
Exactly. It's
but
just not your
but look,
bag.
it may not be your bag. But if you blend, if you're good, let's say you can't blend, let's say you can't do any of that. The fact that you play the right things at the right time, that is more important than anything. If you don't believe me, ask Cool Herc, because Cool Herc doesn't scratch, he doesn't cut on time, none of that. But he plays records that people are just floored by.
Speaking of scratching, what happened to the art of the turntable and beat matching? Because I mean, when you used to be the DJ back then, you had to know when to drop that needle, how to get a little flash. Now it's all just boom in the software hardware joint. Where did that go? Where did that art go?
Well, it's funny because I often say, even if you have a sync button, that doesn't make you a good DJ. So yeah, there's song selection, but if you want to keep people's attention these days, you know, some of the DJs that are more influential mix on beat, and they cue and drop things at the right time and hit effects and all that stuff, and that's all learned. It's funny that if you've started on if you're an older DJ and you start on a turntable medium, you have more of that foundation. And so when you get to a controller, it doesn't do it for you. It doesn't do it for you. You still have to have that skill set to be able to do it. And so it just helps you as far as bringing tons of music and a controller where you don't have to bring, you're bringing less equipment, you're bringing less records, but you're still bringing more to the party
Yeah, yeah.
with technology.
So moving forward in that question, then you work for a company, Serato, and tell me how that company has changed the landscape of being a DJ. Because you used to have turntables, now you got these gigantic. I don't know what you call them. I guess they're still turntables, but it's not vinyl. How does that work?
Well, they are those are DJ controllers, and I'll tell you. So the long and short of Serato is there's a guy named um, Steve West, who in college he wanted to learn how to play the bass. This is why we're talking right now. I'll tell you.
Oh,
So he
wow.
wanted to learn how to play the bass, and he found that it was hard to keep up. So he said, "Hey, look, I want to see if I could slow this down." But when he slowed it down, he also affected the pitch. So that didn't work for him. And so what wound up happening was he looked for an algorithm that would stretch audio. One didn't exist, so he wrote it.
Wow.
And that's what we know as pitch and time. He said, I want to slow this down so I can hear it enough so I can actually play it back, so I can learn. And then he was so excited that he was able to do this and he made this tool. Generous guy. He's like, I want to share this with the world. Well, in steps his mate, AJ Burtonshaw, who was also a college mate and a very good friend of him. And he goes, listen, if you give this away for free, nobody will ever see it. Sorry, there's planes above. Sorry for
It's
the
all
background.
good, man. It's all good. We
So
can't hear
so so he said listen, if you give this away, you're going to put it on a bulletin board site, somebody may find it, somebody won't, but nobody will ever use it. But if you sell it, it will get to the masses and it will change the way people do things. And he was absolutely right. If not for that stretching algorithm, pitch and time, there wouldn't be a lot of things. There wouldn't be, Ableton as we see it. There's like but what it really did was it monopolized. I'm sorry.
it's
It
okay.
it changed the way that people do everything.
It
Uh,
evolved so many
it
different parts of the
it
music
evolved
industry.
what DJ is.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And when I,
So
go ahead.
I, I just want to say thanks to them because holy cow, they've helped a lot of DJs, and it's funny because for a real shy guy and two really cool laid back guys, uh, they walk trade shows and people DJs who know them, they fanboy out because those are the people who changed the game for them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's awesome, man. I'm always amazed to hear the backstory, especially with a technology that's changed how we do something that we've always done, and we always forget that what we've done before can be better, but we don't like to change because it's always what we've done. I mean, people hate change. But something like being a DJ, where you've always spun the turntables, you've always had vinyl. I'm sure there were purists in the beginning that were like, "No, we don't need to have all that technology here. We'll keep with our turntables." How did that go against the new guys versus the old guys? Did you see that kind of coming about?
yeah, you know what I'll tell you. So you have this whole group of people that are called the purists, and they're like, hey, you know what? We don't need any machines, and we don't need. Why can't we do it the regular way? Well, the funny thing about it is I mean it is the regular way. You can still use turntables with Serato. And a lot of people prefer that because they like the feel of vinyl. But with new controllers coming out, that has opened up opportunities for people um, that weren't existing before. And so what's had to happen was the older generation or the more seasoned traditional DJ has learned to conform to the way things are, whether that is using their turntables with Serato or using a controller with Serato. You have a lot of options no matter what kind of DJ you are. But finally, a lot of those older guys came on because guess what? You don't have to use the sync button. Like I said, you're still doing everything you're doing as a DJ. The hardware isn't doing anything for you except for making features more accessible.
Wow, wow. So then let's go forward. Fast forward to modern time now with COVID-19 being here. Who knew that DJs would need to figure out a new way to re-evolve again? Because you started with a crate full of records and the
Yeah.
turntable. Then you had to go from turntable to controller. Now you're in controller, but now you're not even in the room anymore. COVID-19 has changed everything.
It
Where are
has.
DJs at now? How does a DJ make a name for himself now?
You know what? It's funny. There's this thing called the internet, and and it's a wonderful tool for the people that know how to use it. Look, there's a lot of DJs who've never ever gotten to get out of their bedroom to a club to be seen. The biggest and hardest thing for most DJs is how do I get people to find me? How do I get people to book me? How do I get in front of people so they could just see me? Just give me that shot to play one record, and maybe that'll start off my career. So, the differences between that then and now are you have a lot of you have the ability to get in front of anybody because of the internet. Now, albeit it's not in a club, and people are definitely trying to find their way in being supported, in supporting themselves with DJ. The thing is this though, um, right now, I monitor a lot of live streams, and it's funny because some of the live streams, and I'm not talking about the D Nices and all that stuff. Some of the live streams that I've seen have 300 and 400 people on them minimally. That's more people that can fit in a club. Dion Cole had 1,581 people online worldwide. That was
What?
more than
1,500
yeah,
people?
yeah, and he just pops on for an hour and does something on Sunday. But that many people showed up, and you can't get that many people in the club. So although it's sad that we're at home, there are things we can do right now to get in front of people, to have people see us, and some people are doing with making a living. If you like the DJ and he's playing something you want to hear, there's Venmo, there's Cash App, and people are using that to supplement their income.
Wow, wow. So then that takes us into social media. Like you said, the internet is one thing in its own way, but now you've got Facebook Live, Instagram Live, all these ways where you're bringing the crowd to you in a way. How does that change how a DJ thinks now? Because he can't watch the crowd move, and for a DJ, that's part of the whole process of learning the records and spinning and getting be engaged. If he can't see them, how does that work?
Man, are you an undercover DJ, man? Because you got a lot of this stuff dialed in. You are dead on with a lot of this stuff. Um, how does he do that? Well, it's a little bit different because you don't have that live feedback. You can't see the crowd. You don't know what's happening. And one of the ways people gauge engagement these days are in chat windows. So if you're on Twitch, you've got people, or Instagram Live, you've got people shooting hearts and sending comments, and we love you, and this is great, and this is my favorite song. So you get that kind of feedback. But what I find for a lot of DJs that's very helpful, you know what sounds good. And if you're playing for yourself and you're excited and you're engaged, that transmits through the internet. If you feel good and you're having a good time and you're playing great stuff, believe me, people feel that. But if you're sitting there just pushing play and looking like you're reading your email, that doesn't translate.
Yeah,
That
true
doesn't
that.
translate.
True that, true that, true that, man. Well, man, as I said, social media being a giant, what it is, the internet being a giant, what it is, do you ever see when COVID 19's all over, do you see us going back to playing clubs and parties? Because people are saying the world has changed completely now. So we may never get back together with thousands of people in an arena that way. We just don't know what's going to happen. So could you see the DJ moving back into the clubs, or is this going to be a whole new way of evolution?
Well, I'm going to tell you. I have to. Well, the answer is twofold. First of all, you're right. Things have changed, and I don't think they'll ever change back to exactly the way they were. But I will tell you, the second that people can go in a club and party, they will do that. Uh,
Yeah, you
and
got a point there.
there will be lines, and for all the stuff that we're missing now. Yes, that's coming back. What will happen between then and now is a lot more people will have a platform. A lot more people will have established themselves as a viable DJ or as a viable uh, celebrity, as it were. Uh, so that when you do see their name on a bill, you're going to rush out to see him. Because guess what? I saw this kid online. He's phenomenal. I got to go see him live. Um, the you know I try to find the good in everything, and it's really hard to find a good in a pandemic and a virus. But I will tell you that because of the way we're doing things now, it gives people an opportunity that they've never had before. You can be the best DJ in the world in your bedroom and nobody ever realizes it. But right now, with a few pieces of equipment, the whole world could see you, and
Wow.
it could change your life.
That's powerful.
So
That's powerful. That's powerful
so
to think
yeah,
about it that way. That's powerful to realize that at one point, the older DJ, the purist who had his records, could only affect the people in the room. But now that same DJ can be in his bedroom and affect thousands, millions. When you look at the situations like with Babyface versus Teddy Riley, it was millions of people on that stream. They broke the internet, so to speak. When you can reach millions in one shot, your whole thought process changes, right? That's a whole other ballgame.
you know what, I totally concur. And any of the technical issues aside, and hype men and all of such things, it's funny because if when you look at, I don't know if you caught, and nowadays it's like, oh, I can't catch my favorite show, I got to catch my favorite DJ online. There was a battle prior to the babyface Teddy Riley thing, which was Timberland and oh, I'm sorry, it was RZA and Tim. I'm
It
losing
was
my mind.
RZA, and I think it's
Yeah,
DJ Premier. I think if
sorry. Yeah, Tim hosted. It was DJ Premier and RZA,
see, I got
and
that one. Look, see your
yes, you
boy.
see,
Oh,
now that was a test. So
hey, I passed, Tommy.
yeah, so if you watch that within 10 minutes, 890,000 people on that
Yeah,
stream.
yeah.
Within 10 minutes, that's something, and look, of course, a lot of those people are relying on their current celebrity and the fact that they've made incredible hit records and all that stuff. But I'll tell you, when you're passing through channels and you see somebody that's playing something you like, you may never have heard of him before, but now you're going to follow him. And when he comes on, you're going to make a time to go see him, and he's going to gain a fan. And if he does play out, he gets his fan base up. He'll be packing those clubs as well. Hell, we could see people doing this online or in a club and having the club stream.
That's what I was thinking. My mind is thinking, having the big screen behind the back wall, and that DJ could be in his bedroom and make that whole place move, and it could be throwing him on the screen, and he could see everybody, but he could be doing it virtually wherever he's at. That's some crazy stuff right there.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
you know.
And, whether it's done that way or somebody in the club that streams, however it is, your platform has just expanded exponentially
Wow.
because you're reaching the world. You're not just reaching the hot spot in your city.
Sidebar question: DJ slash producer. I've seen this myriad, this blend of artists now, like the David Guettas and Zed and people like that are DJs, so to speak, early on, but now they've become a producer of different music. How does that translate to the new world? Is that a new hybrid type of artist?
Look, the roads of production and DJ have been you know intersecting for quite some time, and some of your favorite records and artists were made by DJs because they know what sounds good. And the one that jumps into my mind, big time right now, is Soul of Soul.
Yeah,
Jazzy B was a DJ, so he knew what sounded good in a club, and he knew what people were going to move to. So when he made his records, all of them were short shots because DJs know how to make people respond. The ability to be able to do some of the things that he did then now is unbelievably simple. You used to have to get a studio, pay all this money, and set aside time and have a budget. Now you can do most of that stuff through home. And if you're at home and you want to make a remix, or if you may want to make an edit or a mashup, all of that stuff is at your fingertips because we have software, and all you basically need right now is a computer to stream, to DJ, and to produce.
wow,
So yeah,
wow.
yeah, it's happening more and more because and to your point, with David Guetta and some of these guys, um, they've had an effect on the term of DJ. So now DJs get validity by having a record out, whether it's a DJ Snake or whomever. There are all these different DJs, and they're like, I've never seen it
DJ
before.
Snake was a turn down for what, right?
Turned
Turn
down for
down
what?
for what?
Man, you're a closet DJ.
That track was crazy, man.
You're DJing when nobody's around, and you know
Look,
what?
I'm
You play
telling you,
that song anyway.
I got mad respect for the DJ. I really do. Like I said before, and I started off, I think they have a different ear, just like a pianist has a different ear to play. A DJ has a different ear for rhythm and for movement. And if he doesn't have that, he's going to be a bad DJ. I don't care how good you are with the technology or spinning. If he doesn't have that in-ear thing about pulse and rhythm, it's not going to work. Call me out. Am I wrong?
Nope, you're not wrong at all. It's all about the feeling. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, and I alluded to this earlier. If you're not having fun while you're doing it, it shows, and people can hear it. People can hear it in how you play your music. You know what I mean? The one thing about DJing, yes, it is what it is, and anybody can do it, but you do have to hone your craft, and you have to have experiences where you're where you're actually affecting people so you can see what to do and what not to do. Hey, this worked. Oh, wow, I cleared the dance floor. Everybody dropped out of my live stream. Maybe I won't play that song, or maybe I won't
Yeah.
make that transition. But yeah, it's really funny how music can affect people. And one more point, during any disaster that's happened, the one common thread through that is music. Music helps people through that. And they say when the Titanic was sinking, people were on the ship. As the ship went down, they were playing. They never stopped playing because that's what got them through. And I
Wow.
think that music's going to get us through this because it's the most powerful medium that there is to connect people. Doesn't matter skin color, doesn't matter creed, sex, gender, whatever. Even if you don't speak the same language, it is the universal language of love and compassion, and it connects people.
It's
It,
so real,
it,
man.
it's
So
very
real.
connected.
So real. And you can communicate whatever message that is through melody, through rhythm, through the energy that music does. So you're so right. That's a big thing. So when you say it that way, it makes the DJ have a very large responsibility to carry that forward. So
Yeah.
so saying that, let me say it this way and close us out as we get to the end of this segment. If you were a beginning DJ now, if you were talking to the kid in the kid in the bedroom, what would you say to that beginning DJ right now? What would you say to say? What would you do to be a DJ now? What would you say to him?
Well, first of all, if you want to do it, then do it. Don't let anybody stop you from doing it. Don't say, hey, I want to do this, and oh, wow, it's too hard, and I'm going to back out of doing it. If you really want to do it and you're passionate about it, do it. You may not be great in the beginning, but you will get great. The more you want to do it, the more you study your craft, the better you're going to get. So I would say be tenacious, be determined, and be persistent, and be in your own cheering section until other people join you in your cheering section, and they will the more you do it. If you're on your team, they'll get on your team too.
And I would tell him as a closet DJ, because I'm trying to get in there with you. I would say study your craft, and your craft is music. So study music, study what makes people move, study what makes people engaged. Find out what rhythms work together. If you're gonna be a DJ, you need to learn how that moves the crowd, how that moves people emotionally. You can't get out there and just play what you like all the time unless you really understand music itself and why it does what it does, why someone gets up at a certain jam, and why they slow dance to others. You're gonna have to learn that to be a great DJ. So I think that's one of the biggest things I would say to that person. What do you think?
That is the biggest thing. You're absolutely right, man. Golly, I need to take some classes from you. But I wholeheartedly agree. If you don't study your craft, you won't know, and nobody wants to sit in. I mean, it's great to watch people cut, but nobody wants to see somebody crab for 30 minutes. They want to feel something, and a lot of times that is the song. There, you can play a song that somebody's never heard before, and it makes you feel a certain way because of that song. And when you study that stuff, you put those pieces together, and you add that to your portfolio of greatness. How I move people with different music. But yeah, being a student is huge.
Last thing, man, we'll close it up. This is just as for everyone who's out there that's watching this, maybe just thinking, I want to be a DJ. What tools do you suggest that they purchase? Because it doesn't take $1 million anymore. It doesn't take 50,000 records. And I'm sure you got to suggest Serato to a point, but what tools would you actually need to just get started?
Well, I'll tell you right now, the number one tool you need is a computer. Mac or PC. If you got one, doesn't matter if it's great or mediocre. Though that is the number one starting point. There are a number of different things. I will plug Serato Play, which I think is normally $30, but it's now free. We're giving it away on keeping busy with Serato, and it allows you to just add your computer and the software, and you can DJ. Additionally, if you want to take it to the next level, get an iRig stream because that's going to help you sound good on live, on live.
Shout to
Uh,
IK, shout to IK.
shout out to IK because I'm going to tell you, if you do listen to Babyface and RZA or some other things, there could be technical difficulties, and nothing is worse than having a group of people waiting to see you and your sound isn't right.
Mm.
So that is a small investment, $100, and it's very much worth it. It's almost as important as your music because you can have the best music, but if people can't hear it, That's the point.
Man, so well spoken. Man, Tony, I am so glad you stopped by to talk to my subscribers today. I've enjoyed our conversation. We're always good together, man. Me and you go way back. So I feel like it's been, what, 15 years I've known you, dog. It's been a long time.
At least, and I gotta say, man, I love the fact that you do what you're doing. I appreciate being here. You're one of the most positive cats I know, and that's what we need right now. We need somebody to tell us what's good, because we're surrounded by things that are quote unquote bad. But there's goodness in here, and we have to find it. And thank God that you are getting it to people. You're getting it in front of their face, so they realize that they have more than just bad things to focus on. There's
Man,
positive things that they can do.
I sure do appreciate
Thank you.
that, man. I appreciate that. Everybody watching out there, if you enjoyed the content you see today, please put a like and a share and a subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. That makes sure you get the content delivered to your email box, your YouTube channel, right on time when the new content comes out the gate. As usual, we appreciate you being here with us. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Take care of yourselves. We'll get through this COVID 19 thing together. I know we will. God bless everybody. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.